Hey, good evening, and welcome back to Everyday Talk 24/7. It's Monday, April 7th. Great to start another week with you. Do you find yourself becoming frustrated with people? Is that something that's a reoccurring theme? I don't mean just an occasional upset, but just they seem to be regularly frustrating to you, or certain people seem really, really frustrating to you. Well, that might have to do with a simple reality here of what we're talking about. When other people determine your worth, it's very easy for you to become frustrated with yourself and with them. Other people can't determine our worth. That comes from God. Our worth comes from serving God as we work with other people. But if they are the ultimate determiners of our wealth, then frustration, anxiety, worry, bitterness, that's part of what happens to us when people determine our wealth. God tells us that we've got to live our life as a daily living sacrifice to Him. We've looked at that passage, Romans 12:1. It's not about serving people. In Matthew, Jesus says these words that we hear a lot, but I think it especially applies to relationships with people when we use them, allow people to determine our worth. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or be devoted to the one and despise the other. You can't serve both God and the pursuit of wealth. That's what the passage means. If other people are determining our worth, then I'm serving two masters. Only God can determine that. You see, there's two ways of looking at this, two ways it impacts you when people determine your worth. One is that you become dependent on people, or in extreme cases, even enslaved to them and what they think of you. So you serve to gain approval. Not serving to honor God, not even really serving to honor the other person. You're only serving to gain their approval. What this leaves then is a sense of bitterness and frustration and defeat because it never works. You can try as hard as you can and you serve and they're somehow disappointed in you, or it's never enough. And you wind up being angry at them, and they may not even know what your intent is. As I said, this could lead to a bitterness or a defeated spirit, or just feeling run over by people. This is what happens when you have this dependent sense. I've got to have the approval of people. If they're not pleased with me, I'm crushed. And whether it's you're trying to get a good grade, whether you're trying to influence your wife or your husband or your son or your daughter or do well at work, if the only reason you're doing it is to try and win their approval, it's a dead end. As I said, that leaves you with the sense of just frustration, anxiety, worry, sense of pessimism. Why even try? It also puts you in the potential category to be abused. When we care too much about the opinion of people, we set ourselves up to be abused by others. So that's one fallout from letting other people determine your worth, is that you can be serving them and not God and become a very dependent, even enslaved person. The second response is one where people try and control. A controller, they very much have to be in charge. These folks demand approval. They're not trying to win your approval, they're demanding your approval. So in this world, people serve the controller. And that's whether it's a husband or a manager or a parent. It's what the Bible refers to as lording it over someone. Church leaders are not to lord it over, they're not to control. So people who are controllers, who are wanting approval by controlling others, they're going to demand compliance or obedience from them. And they'll measure your worth by how well you comply or obey them. This is a form of legalism that comes. It's trying to manipulate you to get to do something to their advantage. So they set their rules in place. It's like legalism. And then for the one who is the controller, other people only have worth when they satisfy the needs and the whims and the desires of the controller. And then, of course, obviously, this type of situation, the controller, the controlling one, it can very easily lead to abuse. Do you recognize yourself? Do you recognize people that you love and care for in these ways? These are important things for us to deal with. You see, when God determines our worth, we serve to honor God and not people. This frees us from the potential abuser. This frees us from being at the mercy of what other people think of me. And then if you are a leader, not a controller, but if you are a leader, you are a servant leader. You come to serve, not to be served. So it's just a quick sketch of what happens when we allow other people to control us. When other people determine my worth, I'm either going to fall into the category of someone who is so dependent upon the praise and approval of people that we basically enslave ourselves to them, or we can become controlling, even abusive, because we have to have that. We have to have someone else obeying us. Dads, this is important for you. You somehow feel disrespected if everybody's not going, yes, sir, and running away immediately and doing exactly what you say, rather than giving honest, loving leadership and leading by example and not by command and order. Let God determine your worth. That's where peace and security comes from. We're going to talk tomorrow about where performance determines our worth. These things are very much interrelated, but it's so important for us because we've got to realize God is the one who gives us a sense of peace and who determines our worth because of what Jesus has done. Thanks so much for being here. I love your thoughts and feedback. We've got some great questions, and I'll try and respond to those too. Again, great to be with you, and you have a good week. Good night.